Okay, as always, thank you guys for joining us today. We will always begin with our non-discrimination statement. We are an equal opportunity provider. And again, just as a reminder, this non-discrimination statement in its entirety and unchanged needs to be a part of your records for your participants and your employees. And remember that you guys must have an And Justice for All poster posted in a visible, highly visible place at each one of your facilities. So welcome to today. Today is the Child and Adult Care Food Program concept review, and this is part 1 of 2. In 2 weeks from today, we're going to have the second part. We as a state agency, we have recognized that we have a lot of new participants. We have a lot of our old long-term centers have new people because we know we have staff turnover and things, and we want to make sure that we can catch everybody up and just provide a quick review of CACFP program concepts. I see you guys are hitting everything up on the chat. You guys are typing in your names and your centers. Please, you do not have to do that any longer. So please don't do that. It kind of clogs up our chat. I really want to save the chat for questions. We have gotten a little bit more tech savvy with Zoom, and Zoom is recording your attendance. So you do not have to do that any longer. Saves you guys a step. Okay, so we want to begin with requirements for CACFP single site centers. Okay, this is a great handout. This is requirements for single site kid care users. And as you all know, as of October 1st, everybody should be using kid care to document all of your program records, with the exception if you are a school food authority. We do have some exceptions, but for, I would say, 98% of you guys need to be using kid care. So this is a great handout. What to do, your daily to-do list. In kid care, you mark your children in attendance. You click on the fork and the knife to mark that those children have received a meal, okay? And then you enter the amounts of food prepared into kid care. What you need to do weekly and monthly, you update your child enrollment. You enter your menus. You copy and paste your menus forward. You enter your receipts, okay? That's a biggie right there. You calculate your claim at the end of the month. You're constantly checking your claim error report to make sure that you're serving enough food and that you don't have any errors. Okay. And how to upload your file into the CNP system. Okay. And if you're having problems, the success at Kid Care, or reach out to our office. Okay. You will make sure that you check that your claim has been submitted in Kid Care. Record your payment. Please remember that you need to keep your bank statements and your receipts and your CACFP timesheets in your monthly folder. Okay. After you do that, then you're going to print your cost of food used, which is your non-status report. And then complete your inventory. And then this is what to do every year. And we have this going on right now. Renew your enrollment forms and renew your applications to be in CACFP. We are working very hard to process your fiscal year 2024 applications that again begin October 1st. So please be on the lookout for those. I hope you all are getting those into us as quickly as possible. Your sponsor, facility, and budget applications. Complete your annual training and monitorings, okay? And ensure that you have your correct policies and procedures in place to be ready for your review. So what if you're a multi-site sponsor? This document right here explains, again, what you need to do at a site level and at a sponsor level, daily and monthly. It's very detailed. A lot of them are the same as I just went over on the other handout, but it's just a little bit different for multi-facility users. And when we say multi-site sponsors, all that means is you have several different facilities, more than one, under your umbrella. Okay. And again, these will be handouts that you will be able to print and get from fitkids.com. And we will send out links at the end of this presentation. Here are your policy and procedures. And this is exactly where you go, to our website right here, to get examples of these policies and procedures. This is our website. This is a screenshot of our website. When you click on that link right there, this is where you go to get them. Clicking on resources right there. Training and monitoring. Once you click on the resources tab, you're going to go to training and monitoring forms. And here's the two forms that most of you guys are going to need right here. These, and just be aware that we service several different types of programs in CACFP. So if you're a child or an adult care facility, you'll use this one. If you're an at-risk center, you're going to use this one. Or if you're an emergency shelter or homeless shelter, you're going to be using these documents right here. So training, again, 2 times a year, as you've stated in your agreement, and monitoring is 3 times a year, and 2 are unannounced. Free and reduced price meal applications. Excuse me. We know these are updated every year. Okay. This is where you get them. Again, here is our website, the same link that was on the previous page. You click on resources, go into forms. And here is the October 1st, 2023 to September 30th, 2024 form. And this is exactly what it looks like. I know you guys know this. Okay, so just be aware that those forms are dated. And annually, you do have to complete new forms. Okay, you have 1 year from whenever the form is dated. Or most people they just renew them every October. I want to tell you a little bit about e-forms, okay? We have this wonderful feature through KidCare, and it will allow you to use e-forms. And this is the KidCare training page right here. This is for single site, and this is for multi-site users, okay? If you have or can get email addresses for all of your parents or guardians, you can use e-forms, and you can actually send them this free and reduced price form electronically, and they can complete it electronically in the system, and it automatically calculates whether they're free, reduced, or above. And it automatically goes back into your system to where you don't have to enter all of that information. Talk about a huge time savings for you guys. Again, this is the Louisiana training page right here. Here are the links, and it'll walk you through step by step of how to use e-forms through KidCare. It really increases the accuracy, and it's going to save you a lot of time. If you're still doing them on paper, this is the SNAP card, okay? We want you to be looking for a 9-digit number. Some of these numbers begin with 2 zeros, but not all of them do, okay? And some of the newer Louisiana purchase cards do not have the CID number on them, okay? Like this card right here, this is where the CID number would be right here, but it's not there. So you need to get that CID number, which is a case ID number, off of the family's paperwork. Tell them where to look on their paperwork. You might see pandemic EBT cards, and these begin with 99. Okay, those do not automatically qualify as free. So you will have to, they will have to list their income and how many people are in the household. One last thing, and we're seeing this a whole lot, is that the 16-digit credit card numbers should never be listed on a free and reduced price meal application. Okay, that is basically, that's a credit card. They should never be given that number out. That's why we want that CID number. So first thing, make sure the year is current. Okay. Make sure you either have a year from the date that it's signed, or use it from October 1st, 2023 to September 30th, 2024. Unfortunately, being out in the field, we do see these things year after year, and we are unable to accept that. So we want to make sure that you guys have the correct information out there. Please complete it, or tell your parents to complete the legal name, age, date of birth for the children. Okay. An adult, on this part right here, we sometimes see that centers have filled this out for the parents, and it states that this has to be completed by an adult household member for the children. Okay, so that is something that the parents have to fill out. And an adult must sign and enter the last 4 digits of their social security number right here, or they'll have to check if they don't have a social security number. Part 5 is optional. Okay, that's ethnic and racial identities. This is optional, so if they don't put it, then that's not information that you would have. And just remember, you are not allowed to visually identify children and assign them or assume that their racial or ethnic identity. And then the official use only, you guys are the officials. This is where you would, if you're using the paper forms, verify their income and categorize them as free, reduced, or above. So what if it's a foster child? We're seeing these more and more. So if it is a foster child, again, the parent or guardian would still enter the child's name, age, and date of birth, but they would check yes right here for foster child. When they do that, they can skip this part. Okay. The adult still has to state when they're going to be there. They skip part 2. Okay. And they complete the form as usual down at the bottom, and then you are the official. And that child is automatically free. Okay. So I've got a little quiz for you guys. Okay, what if the parents, Jamie, I see you have a question. What if the parents refuse to put in the last 4 of their social security number? This is a requirement on the form. You can encourage them to do so. This is a new one to me. I have never heard of anybody refusing to do that. Tammy, what are your thoughts on that one?
Unofficially, there's a checkbox right next to where they put that number that says, I do not have a social security number. But if the parent does not complete the form, the child is above.
Exactly. Exactly. And you can tell them that these forms are kept confidential. And if they complete it in the e-forms, then there's actually, you don't even have to print a record of that form. Then that information is absolutely kept confidential. Again, I see Ms. Daniels, you have a few, Jamie, I saw that. Ms. Daniels, you have parents who refuse to fill out the form. Then that child is automatically above. Okay. If they do not want to put their income, they do not have to. They can put a big line across the form. They can just put a line right here and write refused. They still list when the children are going to be there, and they can just sign or print their name. Okay. They can absolutely refuse to put this. The child is automatically classified as above, and you sign and date the form there. Okay. But I do want to make this clear. We do need a form for every child in your center. Okay. So these forms should be part of the child registration packet. They have to tell you when you guys can expect the child to be a part of their facility. Okay. So you have to have a form for each child. This is our standards of eligibility. And you guys, I'm sure you guys are familiar with this form. So make sure that you're using the current forms. I left this one up here on purpose for you guys to go back and check just to make sure that you have the correct forms. These forms tell you free, that you get categories for free and reduced, and for household size, and if they put down their annual salary, how much they make a month, if they get paid twice a month and every 2 weeks or weekly, whatever they put, this is how you would classify that. Okay, so I want you guys to hit us up on the chat. Got a little quiz for you. So our first example is we have a family size of 3. They're given a monthly income of $2,900. A family size of 4, $24,500 annually. And then if they have 5 individuals in the family and they get paid every 2 weeks. We're going to give you guys about a minute or two. So using this form, and again, I know it's 2018 and 2019, using this form that's up here on the screen, put in the chat, free, reduced, or above, in this order, in the order right here. Let us know what you think. Okay. Very good. All right, Jamie. Oh, you guys are on it. You got it going on. Okay. So for a family size of 3 that's got a monthly income, first thing we're going to do right here is a family size of 3. We're going to go to the monthly income. The maximum monthly limit of the upper limit is $2,252, and they're making $29. So they do not qualify as 3. So we're going to see if they're going to be reduced. The reduced limit is $3,200. So 29 falls below that. So yes, they are reduced. Okay. For an annual salary. So your limit would be $32,600, $24,500 is below it, so they would qualify as free. And then every 2 weeks for 5 people in the family is $2,100. Okay, so 5 people in the family every 2 weeks. Your limits would be $1,474, so we're way above that. And for $2,094. So again, this is $6 under the limit of reduced. So every 2 weeks for $2,100, that would be above. You guys are on it. So let's try another one. We have a family of 5. Okay. And this is where you have to do some math. A family of 5 that makes $2,000 a month and $400 a week. What is their total income and how would you classify? And a family of 9 that makes $83,000 a year. Hit us up on the chat on these. What do you think? All right. So for a family of 5, $2,000 a month and $400 a week. Because there's 2 different classifications, because they're getting paid monthly and weekly, you're going to have to change that to an annual, okay? So you're going to do 2,000 times 12 and 400 times 52, and you're going to come up with a total income of 44,800, okay, for a family of 5, and that's going to be reduced. And for a family of 9, at $83,000 a year, okay? There's only 8, a household size of 8, so you would have to add these amounts, okay? So that would be about 60, and we're at 83. So this would be reduced. So you would add 78 and then 79.92. Because you would have to add that for every family member above 8. So that's how you figure those things out. Any questions? Thank you, Tim, for putting that link in there for us. Go ahead. Make sure that your economic categories on the forms are correctly input into kid care. Okay. This is something that we are seeing a lot of mistakes on. And honestly, you guys are losing money. And we want you guys to get all that you're entitled to. So make sure if you're not using eForms, okay, because eForms is automatic, they automatically calculate that. So make sure that if the child is free, reduced, or above on paper, that when you're entering that into kid care, that is accurate, okay, because that's determining how you're going to be paid. So again, we don't want to have to cite this for a technical assistance bullet or any serious deficiency. So make sure those things are correct. If you need somebody to just, if you, as a best practice, if somebody takes your papers and they call out, Johnny free, Sam free, and you cross-check that in your system, just to make sure that everything is correct. Let's move on to patterns. Okay. Sponsors and institutions are required to meet USDA's component and portion size requirements in order to qualify for reimbursement. Okay. You have to serve 1 whole grain item each day when you're serving a bread grain. For breakfast, you have to have 3 components, and that is a milk, a bread grain, and a fruit or a vegetable. Okay, you can do protein 3 times a week to be served instead of a grain. For lunch and supper, if you're approved to serve supper, you have to serve 5 components. Okay, including 2 separate servings of vegetables or 1 fruit and 1 vegetable. For snack, you get to choose any 2 of the 4 or 5 components. Okay, as long as it's 2 different components. You need to meet the minimum serving size per age group. That's what you need to serve. You need to serve at least that minimum serving size. You can serve more all day long. Okay, that's your decision. But you have to at least meet that minimum. And all components need to be served at the same time. Sometimes what we see in the field when we're providing technical assistance is the plates will be served first, and about 10 minutes later, then they'll put the milk down. Okay. What that could look like is that you're withholding a liquid, and we know you want the children to eat first before they drink, or for whatever reason. However, you have to serve all of the components at the same time. So the milk does need to be served along with the food at the same time. Pasteurized 100% juice, okay, is limited only to once a day to children over 1 year old. Okay, just remember, no juice for infants under 12 months. Meal patterns. I don't know if you guys have seen this before, but this is a fantastic handout from the National CACFP Association. And this right here, this is the link you can click on to get to these handouts. This lists the current CACFP meal pattern at breakfast, okay? And it lists the serving sizes, the minimum serving sizes per age group. It's a quick handout that you can print and you can, order from them, or that you can just print out to put in your kitchen or your classes. It will automatically tell you the minimum serving sizes for 1 to 2, 3 to 5, 6 to 18, or adults. Okay. Again, for lunch and supper, again, serve all 5 components. And for snacks, select 2 of the 5 components. And it lists the serving sizes for each, the minimum serving sizes. Kid Care does kind of simplify that for us because your serving sizes are automatically listed in Kid Care. But again, this is a great reference point. And here is the link. When you receive this presentation, all you have to do is click on the link. This right here is a screenshot of other things that they have to offer on the National CACFP Association's website. I know we're coming from summer offering, there is awesome handouts on serving water, best practices, serving snacks, okay, serving meals to preschoolers. These are great handouts that closely follow all of the CACFP guidelines, very easy to understand. So we really want you guys to have all the information and all the backup that you need to run this program. Infants. We want you guys to be claiming your infants. And here are the infant guidelines. So meals are reimbursable if a mother chooses to breastfeed on site. Okay. So you claim that child just as if you were providing the meal yourself. The infant program provides more nutritious meals and snacks for your 6 to 11-month-olds. Okay. Starting at 6 months old, they are, the pattern requires fruits and vegetables must be served. Okay. And it must be served at snack as well. Juice, cheese food, and cheese bread are not creditable. Yogurt and whole eggs are allowable meat alternatives. Grain can be served at a snack and must be served as a snack. And centers must provide 2 of the 3 items served in order to claim this infant. Okay. What we see most of the time to meet this criteria is the centers will provide the baby food and the rice cereals or the oatmeal cereals in order to claim that child. So again, you must provide 2 of the 3 items served. You do need free and reduced price meal applications. You need those for infants, whether they're claimed or not. Remember that all participants in your centers have to have a free and reduced price meal application. Okay. The regulation is the parent or guardian has submitted to an institution a signed document which indicates that the child is enrolled in their care. Infant formula has to be regulated by the FDA to be creditable for reimbursement. And again, that is also consistent with the WIC requirement. It has to be regulated by the FDA, and it does need to include iron. And if you're claiming your infants, you have to have a 4-week cycle menu if you're claiming those infants. And again, that is on our website. And that's something that you could very easily make in Kid Care and just copy it forward. So here's the infant meal pattern. Okay. And here is the link that you can go. It'll take you straight to this meal pattern. So our 2 different categories are birth through 5 months and 6 through 11 months olds. Birth through 5 months, all they're allowed is breast milk or formula. Okay. And in the CACFP, that has to be 100% breast milk or formula. So parents are not allowed, or you're not allowed to put cereal in the bottles unless you have a note from the doctor. Okay. And we do see that a baby might have a condition and the doctor sends a note that they have to have cereal in a bottle. That's the only way that would be acceptable. In 6 through 11 months old, they need 3 components at each feeding time. Okay, so at breakfast or lunch, and then at snack, you will be serving them their breast milk or formula, a grain or a meat alternate, and then a fruit or a vegetable. Okay, or a combination of both. These are your minimum serving sizes. What I want to point out here is that when you're dealing with infants, they have to be developmentally ready to accept this. Okay. So your serving sizes, say for infant cereal, is 0 to 1/2 ounce equivalents, or for meat, it is 0 to 4 tablespoons. If they are not developmentally ready, okay, or if you have a brand new 6-month-old that you're just introducing the cereal to, and it is not time for fruit or vegetable, and you document that they were served 0 tablespoons of this, and you would put that they were not, in notes or somewhere, you would put that they're not developmentally ready for that. Okay, if that is the case. Same thing on snack patterns. Okay, breast milk or formula, a grain. Okay, and at snack, this could be maybe something from your kitchen. This could maybe be the puff cereals, the infant puff cereals. If they're able to, if they're working on their pincher reflex, and picking things up and putting things from their hand to their mouth. Okay, that could be some Cheerios if they're developmentally ready for that. If they're not, this can be rice cereal that's spoon-fed to them. Okay, again, and a fruit or a vegetable or a combination of both. So with your infants, if you're claiming your infants, again, make sure that you have their free and reduced price meal application, that you have a 4-week cycle menu, and that you're feeding them the correct components and the amount of components, all 3 components at a meal period. And if they're not developmentally ready, then you're just documenting that they are not developmentally ready for that component. Milk. We get a whole lot of questions about milk. Okay. Milk is very, very, very important to our children. It provides them with a lot of essential nutrients that they need for growth and development. We're talking about strong bones, strong teeth, making sure that they're growing at a rate that's acceptable, to their growth charts. It's very high nutrient value. Okay, so that's why we put such an emphasis on milk. So again, these handouts are from the National CACFP Association, and these are things that if you need to educate your parents or your guardians on milk, that these are reproducible handouts that you can get from their website, and let them know that you're on the food program and this is what you'll be serving. Okay. CACFP creditable milk, okay, is going to be your whole milk for your 1-year-old, okay, and then 1% or fat-free for your 2-year-olds and over, okay. Not all milk is the same, okay. And if you're serving a milk substitute, it has to be nutritionally equivalent to milk. Okay. And we're going to get into that a little bit more in the upcoming slides. Okay. So 1 year old, whole milk. Okay. 12 months up to 2 years. Okay. 2 to 5 years, 1% or skim. Okay. And then again, 6 years and older, 1% or skim. Newborns through 11 months old, that they're going to get breast milk or iron fortified formula. Okay. You have a transition period. So from 12 to 13 months, iron fortified formula can be served to the children to help them transition to whole milk. Okay. And then from 24 to 25 months, there's also another transition period to help them go from whole milk to 1% milk. Okay. So substituting milk, we get a lot of questions for substituting milk. Okay. If the child has a food allergy and they are allergic to cow's milk, okay, that's where a medical statement would come in. Okay. Allergies are considered disabilities under the Americans with Disabilities Act. Okay. So CACFP providers are required to offer substitutions, okay, for that milk. If a parent just says, we don't drink milk, serve them Kool-Aid, okay, I'm sorry, that's not something that you're going to be able to do, okay. So for food allergies and for medical reasons, again, we require a medical statement, okay. And the milk has to be nutritionally equivalent, okay, to cow's milk. Okay. So as a daycare center, a home or a center is not required to provide a milk substitute if it's not related to a disability, which means if it's a hardship on you and it is not related to a disability or a medical issue, you can ask the parents to provide that. Okay. And you can still claim that meal. Okay. So the parent or guardian may provide that milk substitute if it's nutritionally equivalent. Okay. So if a child is, if the parents are strict vegetarians and they don't allow the family members to have cow's milk, then they can provide, if it's a hardship on you, you can ask them to provide a nutritionally equivalent almond milk, soy milk, some other type of milk. Now, what if they bring in a vanilla flavored soy milk? Okay. Again, it has to be nutritionally equivalent. So no, you cannot serve or you cannot allow them to bring in flavored milk substitutes. Okay. It can be an unflavored soy milk. Okay. So that would be acceptable. So what if you have a medical statement that indicates that water can be served and no milk substitute is given? Okay. If you have this medical statement that says no milk substitutes, serve them water, then yes. Okay. The meal will be reimbursable and you can still claim that child. But you absolutely need that medical documentation to back you up. Okay. You're going to need that for us and you're going to need that for licensing. Okay. Because I guarantee you, when we come in, if we or licensing sees that, we will be asking for that. Okay. These are great handouts. Here is where you can find them. Okay. At the National CACFP Association website. Yogurt. We're moving along. So yogurt, we have sugar limits in yogurt. Okay. Most of the time we're serving a 4-ounce serving of yogurt. So our sugar limits would be 15 grams. Okay. So when you're at the store, just be aware, when you're buying yogurt, that you keep in mind these sugar limits. Because some yogurts might not qualify. They might be too high in sugar to be served. Okay, generally those are the, not all of them, but most of the time they're the yogurt drinks, the yogurt tubes, things like that. If you're currently serving any of that, just please go look for how many grams of sugar is in that to make sure that that will qualify. Grains. At least one serving of grains has to be whole grain rich. Okay. Breakfast cereals must contain no more than 6 grams of sugar per dry ounce. Grain-based desserts are no longer creditable as a grain component. Unfortunately, we are still seeing this. It's been since 2017, I want to say, that grain-based desserts have been disallowed as part of the child and adult care food program. Animal crackers and graham crackers are the only two that are okay to be served because technically they're still labeled as a cracker. Okay, so watch your grain-based desserts. Ounce equivalents. Use ounce equivalents to determine the amount of creditable grains, and that started October 1st of 2019. And you guys that have been with us for a while, if you remember, we used to have slices. We used to count things by slices, and that was a vague, that really was a vague, it wasn't a true unit of measure. So in 2019, it changed to ounce equivalents. So all of your grains are recorded now in ounces. CN labels. CN labels, that's a program from USDA, and it provides manufacturers a way to offer cooked foods as part of the child nutrition program. Okay, manufacturers have to pay a fee to have this CN label. Okay, and this is the CN label right here. Okay, it's got this box around it, CN, 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 CN. Okay, and it tells you what this product counts as. Okay, you will see these on combination items that are more along the lines of convenient items. So these are going to be your chicken nuggets, your fish sticks. These would be pre-made meatballs, pre-made meatloaf, things like that. So this label right here is going to tell you, and this is a handout from the National CACFP organization. And this is where you get it. You click on that link right there and you'll be able to read it. You can print these up and you can use these as trainings for your cooks. And this is what it counts as. It'll tell you that so many of these count as, like so many chicken nuggets will count as a bread grain and so many ounces of meat. That's what the CN label stands for right there. Okay, it is absolutely different than the regular nutrition label right here. And this is what it looks like, and that's what you have to have. You have to have a CN label or a product formulation statement from the company, from the manufacturer of that food, that tells you exactly what's in it and what it qualifies for under the CACFP program. Foods that do not count in the CACFP, okay? Items like bacon, bacon substitutes, chicken necks, let's see, ham hocks, potted meats, all of these on both of these handouts, these are things that do not count in the CACFP. Now, with that said, we know that a lot of these items are ingredients in recipes, okay? For example, bacon, pork bacon is not a credible meat or meat alternate. However, we know that that could be an ingredient in green beans. That could be an ingredient in cooking beans. Okay. Down here, ketchup. Okay. We know on its own, ketchup does not count towards a fruit or a vegetable requirement. However, okay, we know that you guys are serving baked French fries and things like that. So we know that some of these things that are listed on here, we know that those are going to be extra. Okay. You are not required to list those on your menus. You're not required to list those in kid care. And we encourage you to not list them. Okay. So you are allowed to serve extra things. You just can't count these as a component. Okay. These bread or bread alternates, your cakes, potato chips, ice creams, these are going to be your sweet grains and things. Those are not allowed at all. Okay. Canned milk, a lot of these custards, puddings. Okay. Unfortunately, I've come across menus people are submitting where they want to serve pudding. Okay. That is considered a sweet. And that does not count towards the milk or milk requirement. Syrup. Okay. If you're serving French toast sticks or pancakes or waffles, okay, we know that syrup goes along with that. Okay, but again, that would be an extra, that would be some type of ingredient, and we would not see that listed on menus or in kid care. That would be an extra item. Grain-based desserts. Let's dive a little bit deeper into grain-based desserts. This is again a great handout. These things are not reimbursable. Okay. These things are. This is your savory crackers. These are muffins. Okay. French toast, any type of cracker. Okay. This is what you need to be concentrating on serving versus this. Okay. Rice Krispies are totally okay. Trying to serve a Rice Krispie treat, that is a grain-based dessert because of the added sugar. So be aware of that. Any questions? We have a few other things to go over, but I really want to stop at this point. Tammy, do we have any questions? Because looking at these slides, I've kind of lost track of the chat.
I don't think there was anything relevant to the milks or the grains that we just covered. Had a few questions about the e-forms and the kid care, and I've just been playing as we go.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I have seen some of your responses, and thank you for answering everyone about kid care, about e-forms. Thank you so much. Okay, again, if there's any other questions, please type those in. If we have overlooked something, please hit us up again in the chat. We will be reviewing the chat and try and get with you afterwards if there is something that we have missed. I want to take just a few more minutes. It's 1:50. We got about 10 minutes left. Kid care updates. Okay, just to let you guys know that the Thursday question and answer sessions are going to continue through the end of the year. There is going to be another last chance set of webinars coming in November. So if you have questions, if you need additional training on kid care, we will be announcing that soon. There's going to be more webinars where they will walk you through things. And those are coming up in November. The 2024 webinars, trainings, calendars are going to be coming to us, and we will get those to you guys. We have people coming on the program, and they actually start off in kid care So our trainings for kid care will never end. We will be here to train you guys until you tell us to go away. You don't need training anymore. And we will be having meetings, our LDOE team, we meet twice a month right now. We will be going to monthly meetings with Kid Care. So if there's any questions that we can ask them on your behalf, if there's any, if you guys have any ideas of how we can improve the system, of things we need to add maybe, please get with your state, get with anybody in our office, your state agency individuals, and we will be happy to consider that and get those to Kid Care for you. Here is how to contact us, okay? This is everyone in our office, our phone numbers, and our email addresses. So you know exactly how to get a hold of us, okay? And even if we're traveling in the field, all of our phones are forwarded. So we might not be able to get back with you at that moment, but we will absolutely be getting back with you. Do not worry. Me and Tammy. Okay, I want to thank Tammy for being with me today and helping me out with the training today. And here's how you guys can best reach us. Okay, now don't go anywhere. Here's what I want to let you guys know what happens next. Over the next 2 days, okay, you're going to receive an email from our office, and it's going to have the link to this webinar recording, okay, and it's going to have the link to the handouts. So you will have this entire presentation in PDF that you can download, print, do whatever you want with. And you're going to have access to, there's a limit on the handouts that I can put, but I will be putting some handouts just for your ease as well. Okay. If you're attending this live, you're going to receive an email from me that serves as a documentation of clock hours for your pathways. Okay. It's your responsibility to keep those documents. Okay. Because at this time, we really cannot duplicate them. Okay. So if you have attended, the training today is going to be about an hour. So if you, if you get anything, if you have attended over 45 minutes of this training today, you will automatically receive that email from me. Okay. When you register for upcoming trainings, okay, and we have 2 that we've scheduled. Wednesday, October 25th at 1 o'clock. And all of our Zoom trainings they're designed to be at 1 o'clock because we've identified that that's probably the best time for you guys, because most of you guys have nap time during that time. So our trainings will be, just to be consistent, Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. So we have part 2 of these concepts, and then we have financial training and submitting claims on Wednesday, November the 8th at 1 o'clock. These will all be through Zoom. These are the links to register for these trainings. So please register for those trainings. When you register, it automatically sends you an email with your registration information. Save that. And make sure that you register for this class. If you want 50 people in your facility to attend this training, please bring them all on. But make sure you register those 50 people with their own email address, okay? Because the email addresses are how we document these trainings, and that's who we will send the clock hours emails to, okay? So, and again, if you all would like to have everybody piled around one computer to watch these trainings or to attend these trainings as a group, then again, make sure they are all logging in with their own email addresses, because if everybody's piled around one computer, not everybody will be getting that email. One email will be sent to each registered email address that is actually logged on to the training. Okay. Any questions? Because that brings us to the end. If you got kicked out of the webinar, but you could still hear, you were probably still, you were still logged in. And even if you get kicked out and come back on,